Hey, what's up? I'm your host, Falen, and today I am here with three amazing talents who are doing incredible things in the music world. One comes from Wisconsin, and the other two, they represent the greatest city in the entire world, my hometown, Houston, Texas. And without further ado, let me please introduce you to rapper Mike B, rapper S0l0M0N, and their producer, Wyndigo. All right, hey guys, I'm here with rapper Mike B, rapper S0l0M0N, and their producer Wyndigo. Welcome to LA.
Thank you. Yes. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, well, look, the city is so happy for you to be here. And your fans, some of them may not know your background, how you guys got started. So just let us know how you guys first got introduced to each other. Like, what was that moment like when you met each other for the first time?
Oh man, look, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. Myself and Chris have known each other for a long time. We've been making music since 2017. We first met Mike a few years after, 2020, I believe, right before the pandemic. Very small meeting, very uneventful meeting. Small studio in the hood in Houston, and it led us here. It's amazing. It really is.
Mike B. So what was it like for you meeting S0l0M0N and Wyndigo for the first time?
Well, at first I met S0l0M0N through a mutual friend.
Shout out Samaria.
Yeah, Samaria, shout out to her. Met him, found out that he did music, and I remember the first time I linked up with him, I had asked him to come by the crib, and I wanted to show him, like, yo, I can rap, like, I don't want to waste your time, come check me out. And he came by, it was pretty cool. He'll tell you, man, the first time we met, he came to my house and he spilled some high C all over
the carpet. Oh
yeah,
my
okay,
God.
embarrassing moments a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was cool though, it ain't stained the carpet. But then we ended up linking up, went to the studio, introduced me to Chris. And just right away we got to work, to be honest with you. And we've been working ever since. So that's good.
Yeah, and Wyndigo, for yourself, what was it like getting in contact and meeting S0l0M0N and Mike B? What was that experience for you like?
It was pretty good because having the opportunity to meet people who want to make music is always a blessing. And like, yeah, I first met S0l0M0N and then I met him through a mutual friend that we had, which was cool, but it was a little rough patches. We met Mike and it was amazing, right?
Oh yeah. Like, one thing we said when we first started working with us, like, all right, if we're gonna do this, let's not waste our time. Are we really gonna take it serious?
That happened really quickly.
Yeah.
We didn't really wait around to have that conversation at all.
Nah.
Yeah, so what was that moment like when you were together and you realized, okay, I want this to go beyond friendship. Let's start working, let's start making money together. How did you guys arrive at that conclusion?
You know, it's interesting. I think it came organically. I don't know if we ever necessarily had a super serious conversation about, hey, we're going to take this to the next level, but it's just the quality of the product kind of forced us to take that next step.
Yeah, we always put our best foot forward when we came to try to make the music. We all got different styles, so we try to blend it, you know.
Different influences.
Yeah, and music is a collaborative, art. So we try to mesh it and make it sound as good as we can.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just basically stayed consistent, and we're on this journey and just going along with it, just keeping our head down, working constantly, making music. So.
Yeah, and you spoke about influences and different styles. Mike B, what is your musical style like?
Style, I'll let the masses try to, say what it sounds like, but I can say artists I really listen to a lot that influenced me throughout time. Off top, I'll say Tupac, J. Cole, Wiz Khalifa. I like a lot of West Coast artists. Just a lot of different influences. I got a lot of 90s influences as well. My dad used to be a rapper, so he was really into like the early hip hop scene, the Eric B and Rakim, the Redman, Method Man, Ghostface, Wu-Tang, really. So I grew up in that atmosphere with my dad always playing that type of music and being a rapper himself too. So kind of melting pot of different stuff.
Yeah. And then S0l0M0N, how did you get introduced to music and what would you say your style is like if you could categorize it?
Man, I do think I have a pretty odd style. So I think I'm going to also let
Okay,
the
so
masses,
wait. I have to dig
you
into
know.
this. You call yourself odd. What is it about your style that you would say is odd?
It's unique. It's not, a lot of the mainstream that you would hear. Even in my vocal tone on songs, it's pretty distinct, So I ran from it a lot in my early career. Now I definitely lean into it. So I don't know. It's just it's its own thing, It's Solomon.
So you said that you ran from it a lot earlier on. What is it about this moment that you're in your career, in your life, that makes you want to embrace it?
Oh, my guys, my team, they push me to really find the limits of my artistry and really kind of see what I'm capable of, and to have that confidence, from these guys that, their careers matter alongside mine. It really gives me that push to say, okay, I'm going to dive off into the pool, as opposed to where maybe I might not have put my foot in.
Yeah, and then Wyndigo, you serve as a producer. So what would you say that your style is more comparable as? Like, are there any like current producers or songs or styles or sounds that you lean on more often in your music when you are behind the scenes producing?
Yeah, I would say I can't really say there's producers because I don't want to look at other artists and draw inspiration from them because they got their own inspiration.
Yeah, right.
So it's definitely like styles and genres that I grew up playing. So I mean, blues and jazz and funk is like where I kind of sit in that pocket.
Okay, so you got some flavor going on.
We love the funk, man.
I try.
We love the funk,
Hell yeah.
Okay.
So all of that. But I mean, one producer that I can say directly influenced me and like really made me like want to do this is Big Crit. Like him as a producer is just he just touched me musically.
Yeah. And I know that you guys are working together, although you are not in a group. You have this group type of flavor going on that I absolutely love. So what was it like when you guys first hit that that first studio session together? Like, what was it like joining forces to create music in that first session?
Yeah, I think it was more so or less like a safe space. We was very when we first met, we was all, I'm bringing this, he's bringing that, and he's bringing that,
Play some music.
Yeah, and we just, it's just getting fine-tuned with every track we do now. So the first session was we was lit, our head down, and we just kept working every day. Like we would, every day in the studio and trying to figure it out, When I first started working with these guys, they made music from the bottom up, and I was coming from, I hear instrumentals and just, rapping and stuff. So they showed me the world of producing and actually making a song from the bottom up. And it's a lot more to music. I gained a lot of appreciation for the musical process of this because it's more than meets the eye, for sure. So.
Yeah, and then Solomon, what was that initial session for you like? Like, what are some of those moments that you remember till this day?
The one thing that stuck out for me was the creative chemistry, I think. It's really hard to get multiple artists in a room and have them all align on sounds and things like that. For us to be able to do that quickly was surprising for me. It didn't feel, uncomfortable or awkward. We were able to come in and, of course, we vibed as friends and things like that. We got along that way, but musically it was easy. And that was something that just, it stuck out for sure.
For me, I'm always like, I don't want to work with my friends. I don't want to work with family because things can go left real fast. Things can become sour. So how do you guys maintain the friendship while also being business partners and working together? You
definitely have to check your ego at the door. We can get pretty animated when it comes down to our product and our craft, right? As Erykah Badu said, I'm an artist, I'm sensitive about my music, right? So, we remember though that it always is coming from the place that we're trying to make the product better. It's never personal. It's never like I'm trying to hurt your feelings, you know, I've got something bad to say about you. And when you remember that, we can yell at each other until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and then be like, okay,
And we
so
do.
next session, all right, I'll see y'all Tuesday, let's go.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
We just try to get the best out of each other, you know, iron sharpens iron, you know. So I think another thing is we have fun with it, you know.
Yes.
This is our outlets, and these are things that we're, you know, passionate about. So not losing, you know, that thought and keeping that in mind, like, yo, let's have fun with this journey and just don't put so much pressure on ourselves, you know. Of course, you know, push ourselves to get the best out of our product, but have fun with it, you know.
And Wyndigo, like working with your friends, what has this been like for you? Silence is golden.
What you got to say, brother? What you got to say, brother? What's going on over here, dog? Got some stuff on
Are
his
you guys
mind.
driving him crazy in the background?
Oh, we drive him up the wall, absolutely.
It can be frustrating sometimes, but yeah, it's if you just give everybody respect, like that's what it sticks with, like transparency and respect, you know. So
He ain't
like,
never mad at the end.
Yeah, no.
But that's what matters.
Yeah,
We good,
exactly.
we good.
And that's what
We all
you
do
got to
that
keep
to
in
each other,
mind.
though.
The end product. That's because everybody's going for the same thing. You want
Absolutely.
a good song. You want a good record.
And at the end of the day, I feel like we all teach each other something too.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I didn't listen to it that way. I didn't hear it that way. I didn't use it that way. You know, so it
What
makes
are-
it better.
What are some of those lessons that you've learned from your teammates?
Well, just producing music, period, and how learning about the science of it, where stuff has to sit in pocket, stuff has to make sense,
Absolutely.
while maintaining that creative push to push those boundaries, because you can do some stuff that can be a little abstract that's not pleasant to the ear. You can also push the limits enough to be like, yo, I didn't think of that. That's some dope stuff, you know? So that's what we try to do, make it all mesh.
Yeah, and then meshing, Solomon, what have you learned from Mike B and Wyndigo that has helped you form your craft and hone in on it the way that you have today?
You know what? I would say the research behind it. You know, a lot of what we do, you'd be surprised how much research goes into, you know, making a beat and inspiration and sounds and things like that. These guys are crate digging folks. You know, they are finding sounds and records and things that are from, you know, across the world. And that wasn't something I was necessarily great at, but I found a passion for it because of what they do, you know, and it made me better as an artist.
Wyndigo, for yourself, I mean, how have these guys influenced the producer that you have become today?
They definitely have like a different perspective, and they listen completely differently. So I mean, sometimes they like make suggestions where I wouldn't think of it because I'm not thinking from that perspective. Like he's talking about crate digging. Like Mike brought like a really fucking cool song, and I was like, oh, you know, I would have never found that, but I mean, he found it, and I was like, all right, well, we started making it, started putting it together, and then I was
Split
like,
that mother.
yeah,
Oh,
just
yeah.
like got it together. But,
Sauce
like,
flavors.
yeah, they definitely have influence, and they always say, hey, let's move this around. Sometimes, you know, we can get into it about moving stuff around, but a lot of the times, like, they just have a different ear that I don't think of because I'm just listening to other things and I'm worried about, like, maybe is the kick right, mixing and stuff like that. So, like, I'm not listening for some things that they are.
Yeah.
They got a good ear.
And then a good ear. Things are kicking, these new tracks that you guys have. So many out. There's Kung Fu, there's Candy Coated. There's so many other songs and singles that you guys have out. So amongst the songs that are out, which ones of those are just really personal and that just touch you artistically the most?
Oh man. You know what? I'll take it. Now We Floss was special for me. Now We Floss was an ode to our team. You know, the people that are behind the scenes that you don't necessarily get to thank all the time, you know. Now We Floss was written for them. You know, they've seen us grow and come from nothing. You know, my first recording booth was PVC pipe and a blanket over it, you know, and some of the people who are in this very room that we're doing this interview in were there for that. So Now We Floss sticks out for me for sure because of that.
Yeah, and then what about the rest of you guys? Which of the singles that you have out are really personable tracks to you and your journey to where you guys have come to today?
I think Now We Floss is a real good one that piggyback off of him, to be honest, just because it's one of those tracks where you, like you said, you kind of giving your thanks and appreciation to those people.
Exactly.
When you listen to the track, it's kind of a story. You can listen to it, you can see like it's the perspective of a young artist trying to pursue his path, and
struggling.
People around him that's supporting him. That it could be thin ice sometimes. Like, yo, come on, how far we gonna push it?
Hey, you know.
So just acknowledging that we see that we do know we're trying. So I think that's one of those songs where we got real candid.
Yeah,
definitely. All the other songs we have out, Rush Hour, Kung Fu, Detroit Red, Now We Floss, Candy Coated. Every song is a different vibe,
Yeah, definitely.
But Now We Floss, I feel like is the most personal one, that we have.
One thing that I admire about the three of you is that although you are pursuing music, you are producing, this is not a hobby for you guys. But at the same time, you are also juggling careers and full-time jobs. So how do you balance the two with, staying true to the music and the craft, but also dedicating yourself to a full workload? Like, how do each of you handle those?
It takes sacrifice. I mean, there's no way around it. It takes sacrifice. You have to be willing to give up a lot. When we did have those conversations, a lot of that was, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on a Friday or Saturday night, whereas you could be anywhere. You could be hanging out with friends, you could be with your lady, whatever may have you, but we were in the studio working, and that's what it takes. We would get off from work, our 9 to 5s, because people got to eat and go straight to the studio,
And be in the studio for like another good 6 to 8 hours. So, running a double, basically.
Yeah.
We stay consistent though, and I think that's what's got us here now. I think we always have those talks where we kind of just reflect on it because we don't want to lose sight of that at the same time, Understanding the process, being in the process, being in the moment of now, and just being able to navigate it moving forward, and staying level-headed, So it can be challenging, but we dedicated. When you got people that's around you that's dedicated and that's feeding that support to you, it makes it that much easier. And then it's also a sense of responsibility, like you said, like, all right, he's counting on me, they're counting on me right there, so it's like, all right, let's all do our part, and make something happen and reap what you sow.
What do you say to those persons who are critics, who would say, they need to go do a real job or, do something that's more productive?
We've taken, on the strength of only a few songs, we've shot music videos off of Hollywood Boulevard and, behind Capitol Records. We are playing our first show in Los Angeles. We
didn't have to pay to get in. We got invited to it. It's in a venue, We try to keep our goals in line and be like, acknowledging like what we got coming towards us. And naysayers can say what they want. It ain't gonna stop us at this point. We too dedicated and too into it. Right? Not everybody gonna like what we got, and that's cool because I don't like what they got, and so that's cool too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. I don't take it too personal because you start to realize even the people that you think closest to you to support you, they don't necessarily give you the support that you kind of want or would like to receive, and then you just be like, you know what, it's fine. I'm still being successful without it, so then you don't really take it too personally and just keep on moving. Thank you. Use it as fuel. Thank you. I'll show you eventually, and when you catch on, it's gonna be too late. So.
Bulletin board material.
Yeah, and I know that you guys are, like you said, you spoke about music videos earlier. What has that experience been like for each of you to go into the creative process from producing music to then producing videos? Like, what is it like to see the lyrics and the words in action in a music video?
It's levels.
Yeah.
You start with the beat, you gotta write to the beat, you gotta mix the beat, you gotta master, you gotta start thinking creatively for marketing and cover photos and just getting in that whole creative space. It's levels to it. Every level calls for a different part of you to. You gotta rap, you gotta get some lyrics out. Now you gotta perform it behind the mic. Now we gotta perform it on the video. Now we gotta mix it, and it's levels to it. So I'm learning to enjoy the process.
Yeah.
It's challenging sometimes.
It's challenging. It's a challenge. I was terrified. I will not lie. I was terrified.
What frightened you the first time?
Oh, I hate being on camera. Oh my God, it is the worst thing in the world for me. I was definitely like a behind the scenes guy, and Wyndigo would always give me grief for that because he'd be like, "Why are you trying to do that?" You know,
Don't mix.
don't mix. You can't be
yeah.
afraid of the camera and doing what you do. But we have a great team that works on our videos, you know, and they provide us with so much confidence to do what we do. But it's work. Our first video was a big budget production. And, you know, for us who had never done this before, you know, we're walking into the set and there are actresses everywhere. And, you know, the director is telling us to go here and it's
Lights flashing and,
you know, and
set, go. It's like, all right,
let's go.
Cool, let's
you know,
do it.
So it's definitely a challenge, but we do our best to kind of take it in stride.
Yeah. And then I want to talk about the really unique, special connection that producers have with rappers and rappers have with producers. Talk to me about that dynamic and how integral it really is to be in sync with your producer and then with your rapper, especially for you, Wyndigo. You serve as, you know, their producer. So what do you think people misconstrue when it comes to producing in this game?
I think a lot of people want to give a beat and then just make money quick, hand it off to the artist. They don't care about the final product, which is about the money. But this is still art at the end of the day. So like we have to make, and we have to care about how their vocals sound. We have to care about what they're talking about. You know, I'm not just gonna hand them, we're not gonna create some music and it's just gonna be like, oh yeah, just write whatever y'all want to be like, oh yeah, whatever. Because then my product eventually like, you know, has bad quality and suffers from it. So yeah, it's that, but also we have to be in that safe space. We got to be in the place where everybody can just make suggestions,
Judgment free, man.
and then not be criticized for it, or not be like, oh, I don't know, man, I don't know about that.
Hearing it out.
I mean, we'll definitely like.
Yeah.
I've made some ideas, and they're like, yeah,
That ain't it, my boy. It's all good. Ain't no harm in it. It's like I want the best for you, you know, and that ain't it. I feel like you can do better, and I think that's what we do for each other. So, working with a producer though, that's a blessing in itself, just to have that at our disposal. And he can get frustrated, but he's patient with us. He is.
Yes.
He's definitely patient with us. And I think we help each other in the process. He's building patience with artists, and you know, we're learning what he's teaching us as well. Like, yo, go for it, you know, and don't just hold back, and understand the technicalities of it too, you know. So he exposes us to that side of the world, and a lot of artists aren't even in tune with that. You can tell in the product, and I think with us, we try to make every song, if you listen to every song, it's context to it, not just here's a track, you know. We try to make it to where you can somewhat visualize it or use it in a way, to where you're either working out or films or skits or just a good time or just everything, car ride, on the beach, whatever you want to do, you know, headphones. So just try to get everything in context and make some good product.
Yeah. And I know that you guys are gearing up for a good time tomorrow. You guys are in LA.
Yes,
you will be performing tomorrow in Los Angeles.
Yes, sir. Yes,
What does this moment feel like for all three of you?
Surreal.
Why is it surreal?
Surreal. It's to perform, you know, again, as I've said, you know, it's our first show, right? You know, you assume that it's going to be some hole in the wall, you know, 5 people there, right? You know, it'd be probably your biggest supporters. And it's still, you know, hey, it's my first show, but nothing like this. The Virgil is hallowed ground for shows and indie artists. And for us to be able to really have a chance to rock the house, and this is our first go, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's surreal. It's very surreal, but you know, I think we're focused enough to like just be like, we put in the work and confident enough to just stand on it, you know. So
Absolutely.
I think it's still gonna be a good show. It's gonna be an icebreaker for us, get the nerves and stuff out the way, but once we get going, I think we'll be good and we're gonna have a good time and enjoy the music. I feel like I'll stand on our set list, so I think we'll be pretty good, man. So it's a full circle moment for sure, man. Starting from where we started at in our own respective lanes and then seeing where we're at right now. And like you said, going into a show, it's first show, man, in an actual venue setting where, you know, people have to pay to get in. we got invited to it. It wasn't like we had to pay for a place for it. So it's our first go, and we only got so many songs out. So I tell ourselves, give ourselves credit, pat ourselves on the back, because we put in that work to be here. So, yeah.
And then for you, Wyndigo, you are along this ride with them. First show tomorrow in LA.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the music's like kind of like your baby. So like it's good to see it going somewhere, and not just kind of out there sitting on a shelf doing nothing, So it feels really good to see these guys like actually be able to perform and push the music and get themselves out there.
Yeah. And then your fans, we all want to know, what is next for you guys collectively and also individually?
We do have a couple of songs that are in the chamber, as to say. Royale and Blunts in Bel Air will be coming very soon. So please stay tuned for those. We're excited about them. They sound way different than what we've produced in the past. So I'm really excited for people to see the direction that we're going. I think we really touched on something. It's going to be a blast. I'm ready.
We also got a third one that we kind of keep tucked away.
Okay.
That one,
yeah, that was.
I don't know about that one. That one,
it's a fun one though.
It's a fun one. We might make some folks mad with that one, but
it's just music, baby. It's just music. Man.
It's just music.
Yeah. But yeah, we got some music in the chamber individually. We're also still working it. Like you said earlier in the interview, we're organically letting this grow and just staying on the path of the journey will unfold. So we're very optimistic about our future. I'm pretty sure we'll have way more stuff in the future that we could touch base on outside of music as well. So,
we are celebrating 50 years of hip hop,
yes.
right? I mean,
yes.
every month something is going on. As you guys reflect on your own paths to where you are now and where the genre is going and where it has, just arrived at till this point, what are your thoughts on the next 50 years of hip hop?
Ooh. Wow. Damn, that's a good question.
It is a good question.
Like you said, even it being 50 years in its own, it's like, that's big. That lets you see how long it's been around and how new it's been as well. Because it's only 50 years, and that's not that long. And it's been evolving each era, So to see where it would go 50 years from now, it probably won't sound like this at all. It probably sound like I honestly feel like hip hop is gonna have to start getting subgenres. Yeah. Because it's so many different types of sounds that you hear that you can't just say it's just hip hop.
Yeah.
Because a lot of hip hop artists now aren't even hip hop influenced. They're just they're making the music how they hear it and perceive it with the up-to-date sound. Yeah, so 50 years from now, I don't know. I think it'll be in a good space though at the end of the day, because hip hop, I feel like, runs the world culturally and sonically. There's a lot of influences around the world based from hip hop. So I think it'll be in a good space.
What are your thoughts as we race towards the next 50 years?
It's crazy to think about that we've come so far, listening to the Curtis Blows of the world before, and 1, 2, 3 rap, and now, the Jids that are so technical, the Immortal Techniques, these guys who make paintings with the way that they write. Like, it's crazy to see the progression, and yet as Mike B talked about, we haven't been around very long. So I'm really excited to see, where we go from here. And I agree that it's not going to sound like anything that we have right now, just because even from the 80s, our sound is so much different, but I do think we'll be able to appreciate it.
Yeah, and then Wyndigo, there are persons back in the day who would have thought the genre would have lasted maybe 2 or 3 years, if that tops. So the fact that we've gone 50 years, how does that make you feel as a producer?
Makes me feel really good. And then just everything that happens kind of now, it's being more open and accepted in other genres. I mean, like, look at country. Like, a lot of country has extreme hip hop influence. So it's like, other people, it's gonna, I think, infect everybody and make it probably to the classical world eventually.
In 5 years, I want to be.
Yeah, go ahead, baby. Go ahead, Blair.
5 years, I want to be making not just a living, but a long-lasting career. Being able to sit at the table, and not just be in the room with other people.
All right, Solomon, you up in 5 years?
Man, I think I'm a little bit more ambitious. I want us to own the room, if that makes sense. In 5 years, I see our outfit based upon how we've moved to be something truly special and big. And I want us to be established, be able to say that, hey, that umbrella, that they're doing something over there. And like, we want to go and see that. We want to go experience that. If we're there in 5 years, I'm feeling good.
Then last but not least.
Yeah, 5 years, the foundation will be built by that point, you know, and the ball will be rolling by that point. Because I stand on our work ethic. We get in work on a high level, quality work on a high level, and then we got pieces that's just organically falling in place for us. So it's like a blessing in itself. So you can see the trajectory of where it's going. 5 years from now, I think we'll be in a full-fledged motion by that point. And like he said, you know, we gonna own the room. It's gonna be a wave, though.
Yes,
you know what
sir.
I'm saying? So I definitely see that for us. And like I said, the foundation will be built, and the umbrella will be there for us to branch and try different things creatively and brand ourselves and put ourselves out there, you know. So 5 years from now, we'll be in a good space.
All right. You guys heard it, 5 years from now. All right, well, thank you so much to Mike B, Solomon, and Wyndigo. It has been a pleasure, and then congratulations, and break a leg tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.